Hey there everyone, it's Alex here from VG247.com, and you're looking at some footage of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which of course is the sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, which is the sort of adventure platformer based game. I hate this word, but a Metroidvania style game. That of course is published by Microsoft and coming from Moon Studios. The original game, Ori and the Blind Forest, came out in like 2015. That was on PC and Xbox One. The series, of course, found a much bigger fan base when Microsoft decided, despite it being a Microsoft-published, Xbox-published title, that they were going to put it out on the Nintendo Switch. This sequel, is right now it's PC and Xbox One only. They're not talking about if there'll be a Switch version, but I think it would probably make sense, so hopefully they do one. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with the game. I got to play around about the first 4 hours. I'm not going to show you all of that footage, obviously, because spoilers and all that. But what I wanted to do was, you're looking at the opening of the game right now, and I figured I would talk a little bit about my impressions based off those 4 hours. What's new, what's different, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy. And then I would sort of, at the end of it, shut up and just let you see some raw gameplay, especially because the original Ori was so well known for its music, which is absolutely beautiful, and they've got the same composer back this time, and the music in this new game is also really, really beautiful. But anyway, so what's different? Probably the most striking thing straight away is the combat. So, the funny thing is, in an interview with the producer of the game, it was explained to me that the original Ori obviously had an ending, and the ending was quite definitive. And the funny thing is that they couldn't really use the same combat just because of how the ending played out without sort of undoing the ending. So it gave them an opportunity to rethink the combat. And obviously, if you think about the original Ori as a more platforming-oriented game, this is, by far and away, much more combat-friendly. You can do combos. There are different styles of weapons with different speeds and strengths and all that sort of stuff. Which is really, really cool and really, really interesting. It's got some really fun traversal abilities too. It just feels like a deeper, more full experience, I guess. I mean, the example I would give is sort of like if the first Ori was sort of more in the vein of, to go down the path of doing the Metroidvania comparisons, even though I hate that word for this genre. We need a better word than that. But if we compare it to, if the original Ori is more like something like Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo, then this feels like it's more like something like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's a much larger game. The whole of the map from the first game can fit into just a section of the map in this game. There's more weapons, there's more moves, there's more abilities. There are abilities now that sort of aim to, because the game is much more complicated and they appear to realise that this is a game with broad appeal, you can sort of equip different abilities to sort of tailor the way the game plays to you. So if you're somebody who isn't very comfortable with platforming, you can equip an ability that gives you a triple jump instead of the double jump that you naturally have. Alternatively, if you're a bit of a badass and you think you're great at these games and you've, completed lots of games of a similar style, you can do stuff like give yourself double damage output, but also double damage taken as the same sort of buff and debuff. That's the trade-off. Obviously, that'll also be really interesting for things like speedruns and stuff like that. I can see this being a phenomenal game for speedruns. You've got lots of different weapons, like I say. There's a bow and arrow, there's a hammer, there's sort of a stick that functions more or less as a sword. So that gives you an idea. You can already imagine how all those might be used differently in combat, but also how all those might be used for puzzle solutions too, which of course is a big part of these games. It's sort of that thing of, you get that satisfying flow of, I'm sitting down for this hands-on, and I don't feel tempted at all to get up, go and get a coffee, go and get a drink. I don't feel tempted to chat to any of the other journalists present. I just feel like I just want to play this, like, really, really focused, because it's got that great feeling that you get from the best of this genre, where every time you unlock something new, your brain is already firing off with loads of ideas of how you can backtrack to previous areas and use the new stuff you've unlocked to open up new areas and all that sort of stuff. There's side quests, there's NPCs. It's just really, really lovely and really, really cool. And while all that is, sort of included, all the stuff that people loved about the original release is also still present. So it's still really fun traversal. It's still sort of absolutely gorgeous, both in terms of the visuals, in terms of the music, in terms of how the story's told, which is very, very light touch with very, very little text, and no voice acting, or no English voice acting. And yet you understand completely what's going on and what's at stake and all that sort of stuff, which is brilliant. So I just think it's going to be really, really good, basically. I said at the start I was going to talk about the things that I didn't so much like about the game, but to be honest with you, from this hands-on, there was really nothing that stood out to me as problematic. I just really, really, really enjoyed it. I think it's got that feeling, especially in this new combat, where I think everyone will have this moment where they're in combat and they're just sort of button mashing and something awesome will happen. And then you'll go, right, that was great. I need to figure out how to replicate that and do it again. And then you will figure that out and you'll quickly begin to understand that there's quite a lot of depth, because even the traversal sort of abilities can factor into combat in terms of getting you in and out of situations, away from enemies, closer to enemies, allowing you to sort of kite them and hit them and back off and all that sort of stuff. There is, like I say, a really surprising amount of depth for it, because I was honestly sort of just expecting more puzzle platforming, and this feels like so much more. Anyway, I think I've done enough nattering. I'm going to now shut up and let you just enjoy some gameplay, just unfettered, untouched, from the event, because I think it's a gorgeous game and it's definitely the sort of game that benefits from just being watched. If you like this sort of stuff, don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe. That stuff really helps us out. Do stay tuned, because there's lots of games coming out now and there's lots of exciting previews we're going to be doing in line with that. But yeah, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Until next time, everyone. See ya.
Orchida. Tangelo, Toran, Matan, Nugsam, Oriotona Nuj, Naragutim, Jinshelo, Tu Jinshelo, Tush Atan, Isokena Nuj, Ami. Onok mira. Eza uji. One. Ani nugsam. 나누시 오직 하네 이나슈고 아시낙